Welcome to Creative Testing Masterclass here. This is for Facebook and TikTok specifically. This is more of a top level strategies. But well, I'm gonna go through specifics in the ad account, some of my best principles that I've learned, and basically some of the biggest mistakes that I did regarding how I approach creative testing and how some things that I've just found out of spending quite a bit of money on paid social. It will be around 3 or 4 million right now. Again, just sharing my thoughts and how I like to test creatives. Here, I will also link this doc in the description below, so you can have it as well if you want to check it out. And yeah, let's actually let's actually jump right into it. Honestly, creative testing is one of the most important things right now. As you probably already know, the biggest lever you can pull on paid social is creative. So how we approach creative testing is super important, and this is like the fundamentals before actually going into scaling. And a lot of things and a lot of people, and me myself as well, I was totally overlooking how to test creative. I was just throwing some batch of creatives there and just hoping they worked. So yeah, like this is super important. One of the most important things. If you get this down, your results, I promise you, if you give me like 5-10 minutes here and watch it all the way through and check out the document below, I mean, you'll 2 to 3x your results. Plus, you'll be a much better marketer. So let me actually jump straight into it. Now, let me go into key introduction and like key principles. As I said, like creative testing will depend on like your budget, product, what we're actually trying to achieve here. It's not like, okay, this is the way to go. This is just 3 core methods that I like to use that are more dependent on things or like product, AOV, and like what I'm trying to achieve, budget, most importantly. The most important thing is to really set a hypothesis behind any sort of testing that you can do, so you can have like an outcome learning on the other end that you can leverage. This goes beyond just creative testing. It can even go into like scaling and any like variable that you actually want to test in the ad account. You need to have a pretty clear hypothesis before testing that, so you can really just really test against the control here and move forward the account and basically the whole test. So that was big for me when I actually realized that and actually started implementing that. So make sure you actually have a very clear hypothesis. If that account is brand new, the first thing that I do, and this, going a bit of more top level, I'm actually doing a separate video of that because it's super important. If the account is actually brand new, the first thing to do is I do creative research. Obviously, there's a lot of going into like the briefing of the content. If it's actually brand new and we don't have anything to work with. And the first phase here is message testing, basically, and testing different angles of different creatives, really broader, really macro level, like demonstration creatives, for example, testimonial creatives. It can be statics and carousel. What angle works the best, and then going into actually messaging. So hitting different pain points, different angles that this brand might have, so we can see what's resonating the best, that we can actually start building on. That's super important. The first step is message testing. Then I go into creative testing, where we test different hooks, different thumbnails, and so on and so forth, just iterating on those messaging and testing different like creatives on that winning messaging that we found. So like that's top level view. So again, like first would be message testing, as again, just to make it very clear here, message testing, and that's when the ad account is new. And then I go into creative testing, and this is super important because after a point you need to identify like really the winning concepts, because after a point it will be inefficient for you to scale on things that really are not working. So we need to pinpoint what angles, what creatives, what exact styles has worked. We can pull budget and like pull spending higher and really scale effectively. So the main testing principles before actually going to the account strategies, the most important thing out of everything, if you just get this out of this video, man, I wish I knew that when I was starting out, but it's single out variable isolation. It seems so common sense. You need to test one variable at a time, isolating each variable become about your creative testing process. Okay, what are we testing here? We need to isolate one variable at a time and test against that. And this is how you progress. This is how you can stack tests and really make progress throughout the months with predictability in a sense. The second is what I touched before, is really set a clear hypothesis behind sort of testing you want to do and come out with specific learning. And third, after the initial testing phase, you should pivot the majority of your ad spend into iteration of core winning concepts. I see so many times by brands different businesses that I've had the chance to actually work in different engine setups as well, and I'm still working. So just to be clear, they focus so much on like testing new concepts all the time. They are like, okay, the client might be okay, what we can actually test new, when the answer is actually iterate on what was actually already working, and after a point is really try to iterate and really pinpoint this super ad in a sense. So having said that, let me actually dive into the specifics of the account itself. So the account strategy is the first is then the most common one, maybe when signing out, it will be when we have different styles of videos available to test, or videos, or to actually say better, maybe like creative in general, and maybe like it can be videos and like statics. Typically it's better to have like statics and videos like in a separate testing, just again to be much more clear or what's working, because it's a whole different format. But is, for example, you might have like one small video, you might have just a static here, you might have like 3 or 4 of those, and you want to test them. Like they are different creatives, they don't have very similarities. Again, it might be just a testimonial video, but it might be a demonstration video or an unboxing video. So I test those in 2 ways. My personal favorite is to isolate each creative variable, so I can have full control of what's working. And this, when you isolate each creative variable into separate ad sets, to have equal spend distribution and be 100% of the best. So that would be in that account just one ad set, just one ad under it, and then you duplicate that and just change the creative. So you isolate, you put maximum budget behind, no maximum budget, you put specific budget behind each creative. It will be the equal amount of budget. For example, let's say that you have 4 creative tests, each one might have like $20 behind each ad set, but again, total of that will be $80. So that requires a lot more budget in a sense, not actually a lot, but more budget. So if you're comfortable with that, definitely go with that. This is like how we can really be sure and really isolate what's working, because we don't have outside factors like, okay, Facebook might not distribute the spend evenly. And that comes into the second way, which is to put all variations in the same ad set, like Facebook or TikTok, but I'm going to talk specifically on TikTok in a bit. Choose a winner. Facebook will most likely pick the most scalable / best performing here, and people most spend to 1 of 2 out of the 3 or 4 creatives, basically, that it thinks that they have the biggest probability to produce the most amount of results. Because again, Facebook is on our side. I know that's a bit controversial, but I like to think that Facebook is on our side. 98% of their revenue is on advertising, so I don't know why they should sabotage us in any way. Obviously, it's not always correct, that's why I like to go with the first way, but that will look like, just basically, that might be one of the most common things. Just basically have one ad set, 3 or 4 ads animating, just let it rip, let it just people spend to what's working or what it thinks it will work. So second is testing new creative iterations against the older winner. That's obviously after you have like a few winners here and some iterations. It means that we just change one element of winning creative. One thing that we've used in an agency and I've used is Motion, which is super handy. You really have different reports. I might throw it somewhere there because I didn't mention it here. It has different reports when you can see really the impact of the thumbs-up ratio comparing to the conversion rate and stuff, and you can really just create very handy reports that you can extract information very fast. Again, that could be small tweaks, it could be just a headline or a new thumbnail, or be larger tweaks. It's just changing the hook and rephrasing the hook. That's like a go-to, very easy. Or the CTA of the video. On Facebook, make sure you have to test variation with the original version here. Because if you test the new variations with the already existing ad that is running, which has social proof, obviously it will make it hard for you to make clear adjustments, and the auction is much different. Like Facebook will favor the ad that has social proof already. So just a quick distinction here. How that would look, for example, say that we're testing, this is the original ad, we would take that and just change maybe add here some Trustpilot badges and test like a different wording and testimonial here, so we can see like how it worked and just changing the headline. that will be against the old winner. Again, this is the same thing. Number 3 is dynamic creative testing. This is like test similar variations of the same concept. It can be just like that. The key thing here again is to isolate creative. For example, let's say that we have put like 5 of those statics and we just change the headline. So that's the variable that we actually controlling, and we're testing like which one is doing the best. Dynamic creative testing will give Facebook really the leeway in a sense to find the best combination in a sense, because we like also testing. We can throw a bunch of things like videos, image scopes together. How I like to go approach it is again same as previously. I just like to isolate each variable. You can do that as well, just point here, and we can just throw a bunch of things here, but it's very similar variations of the same concepts again, and just let Facebook pick the best combination. I aim to not have more than 15 combinations, honestly, especially if I managing lower budgets, just because Facebook will spread way too thin, and it won't have any meaningful learnings, to be honest. After a while, what I do is I check the breakdown of any elements, and based on the results, I make like guesses on like that we can pull out of the winning combinations, and with all the and pull out all the winning combinations and pull them out in specific. We're gonna extract the post IDs and test them and actually into the scaling campaign as well collectively. So select the best variations and the post IDs and start running those as ads, as regular ads, like scaling campaigns, to see if it actually makes sense to really scale them and test on scale. Obviously, as you can see, like depending on your niche budget, we just create different structures. As you just be pointing here, how we do that on the dynamic creative. Obviously, that's on ad set level. You just toggle that on, and then you have a dynamic ad set that you can just test. And then if you just break it down, you go here, break it down by dynamic creative assets, you can see a bunch of things here that you can extract like any learnings and the best combination. You can just scale it basically. Now that's pretty much on Facebook. Obviously, again, there's other ways that I like to go about it, but there's like the core things that I really wanted to cover here. And just lastly on TikTok, and apologies for the video being a bit long. I tried to make this really short for you guys because I know it's really hard to pay attention after a point, but on TikTok, like things are, from my experience, so different. And 99% of time, I go testing single ad groups, like how I mentioned about here. So one ad under one ad group, for example, we have one ad group. This is one audience, broad, most likely. Then just one creative. Then I'll duplicate that, mount on a sheet 2, and then I'll just see the difference in performance. So what I found is TikTok machine learning is not at the same levels as Facebook's. So I haven't found the best results just letting it rip, and whereas Facebook can actually pivot the spending to the most winning ad, TikTok just distribution is all over the place. It might be just evenly distribute in every ad, and it might or even just over distribute into one ad. Really hard to make meaningful learnings out of it and really test test creatives in a predictable way. Sorry for my English. But in any case, I like to control everything here on TikTok. So 99% of the times it will be in single ad groups, maybe on high AOV products that I really want to just push a bit more budget, and that will make no sense just if I have creatives to play around. That will be a lot of spend there. So I might merge 2 or 3, but again, will be very, very in a controlled way, just testing a few, like very, very single ad variable. So again, TikTok, go single ad groups, testing, in my opinion, is the thing. Also on scaling, but that's for another video. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As I said, I will link this below. Let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching this. Have a good day, guys.